Hey everyone, I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new I do work here lady stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called You Don't Want to Talk With Me? I was the front desk manager of a hotel. I was in charge of guest relations as well as the front desk staff. I did all the hiring, firing and training of front desk staff, and my general manager basically just gave me the freedom to run my area as I saw fit, intervening only when necessary. On this day, I was alone at the front desk covering for an employee who was running late. My general manager, a woman in her 50s, was standing next to me in dirty, paint-covered scrubs as she's been helping the housekeeping staff with some minor maintenance that day. I'm a woman of 32 at the time, though I looked considerably younger. So this woman walks in while we are discussing the events of our day and preparing keycards for that evening's arrivals. She is carrying a folder and is pulling out a resume as she approached the counter. I stop what I am doing and walk toward her to greet her. Good afternoon. Welcome to this hotel. My name is... The lady interrupted me in a condescending tone as if I was a child. Oh, hello dear. You know, it's okay. I have some important business and I need someone who knows what's what around here. Okay, dear? I stood shocked for a moment as she approached my manager at the desk. I walked back to stand next to her. Hi, my name is Karen. I saw online that you are hiring for a front desk agent and I would like to apply for said position. As you will see from my resume... My boss cuts her off at this moment while taking the resume from her hand. I need to stop you right there. I don't do the hiring for the front desk, but she is the front desk manager and is in charge of scheduling and performing all interviews and has the final say who gets hired. As she says this, I walk up close to her and she hands me the resume with a smile before walking off. I smile at the lady who has now gone pale and has her mouth open in a weird way. She reminded me of a fish. As I was saying, my name is Sis and I'm in charge of hiring. Are you looking for full-time or part-time? We had a brief conversation about her skills and experience, during which she couldn't look at me and I sent her on her way. I never called her back for an interview, not because of her actions, but because I had other, more qualified applicants to consider. I did pass on her resume to the head housekeeper who had heard the story and she decided to call her for an interview for the heck of it. But the lady refused the offer. The next story is called Would You Like My Autograph? Back in my late teens, my small town was famous for its annual early music festival. I fell in love with the music, and after one concert, I approached an organizer and said I'd like to be involved, and were there any jobs that needed doing? I had in mind something like stuffing envelopes for mailings. The reply took me aback. You are a bright young lad. Would you like to be our treasurer? I was too young and innocent to know that the right answer to this is not on your life. So instead I said, yes, okay. This horrible job did have one light moment that I've treasured for 40 years. Part of my job was to write checks for the agreed fees and hunt down the musicians backstage to pay them after they had given their performances. Most of the musicians I met this way were lovely people. Gentle, modest and pleased to see me. Only one performer wound me up. She was an organist who clearly believed she was God's gift to music and strutted around with an air of arrogance. After her concert, I had trouble finding her and eventually caught sight of her in a corridor and went after her waving a pad and pan. She saw me, stopped and beamed. Hello young man, would you like my autograph? Not really, I replied. I rather thought you liked mine. And with that, I flipped open my pad, actually a checkbook, signed her check and handed it over. I have never seen someone look so crestfallen when getting paid. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to press the like button. It really helps. And now, on to the next story. The third story is called I'm Not Coming Back. A few months ago, I started working at this restaurant, which I used to eat at a lot before I started working there. I already knew the owners, since my mom was good friends with the parents of one of the owners. The owners are a married couple which comes by almost every day to check on the restaurant. There were a few regulars at the restaurant which I used to see a lot every time I go over to eat. When I started working there, I didn't get a uniform, since I didn't have it in my size, so I just wore regular shirts to work. I tried to only wear the plain shirts I have and not those with words or cartoons on them. All I did was basically serve the customer and getting to know some of them. It started off pretty well, until a Karen decides to pop up. At that time, I was already working registers, but I was pretty new, so I was a bit slow at it. Karen walks up to me and yells at me to get the cashier. So I told her, "Ma'am, I am the cashier here right now." She just looked at me like I was crazy and said, "No, I mean the guy that I always pay to. If he is not the cashier, then I won't pay. Do you even work here? Are you stealing?" At that point, I was just speechless and my boss was looking at me with her eyebrows raised. So I decided to get my colleague that she always pays to. But not before she started telling me, "I know you don't work here. You don't have to lie. I have seen you eating here a lot of times before, so I know you are only a customer. You don't even have a uniform to begin with." And my boss chimes in and says to Karen, "Well, she does work here. My husband hired her." Oh boy, was Karen not happy and yells at her, "Who's your husband? I know the owner here. He would give her a uniform if she worked here." So my other boss comes out to look at what was going on and Karen's eyes lit up when she saw him. She told him, "Look at these two lying idiots. One is claiming she works here and the other is saying you are her husband. They are definitely lying." My boss was confused and just told her, "Yeah, she works here. I hired her. And yeah, she's my wife. Have you not seen her before?" And so Karen storms off while muttering, "I'm not coming back here again." That was satisfying, since she never did come back. The last story is called Who Are You? Unbeknownst to most people that come into contact with me, I'm above the age of 30. You wouldn't be able to tell that much just by looking at me, but I'm of half Asian and Caucasian descent. You can call it really good genetics or what have you, but it has become a curse sometimes when you get mistaken for a teenager. It also becomes a small problem when your demographic is tweens. I have to hire people without discriminating on age and try to accomplish things and teach them about the in and out of fashion trends of the current generation. I was set to open a new store in a brand new mall that recently opened. I tasked both my marketing manager and new store manager to find suitable people within the months to fill in our new store with fresh faces and delightful customer service. It took them 3 weeks, but we got most of our employees sorted out. During the last week before we opened, I happened to be attending a convention at a nearby state, so I was gone for an entire 5 days and 4 nights. Whilst I was gone, my marketing manager decided to hire her niece as the last employee we needed. We will call her Bernice. I think that would suit. She asked me for permission to avoid drama and backlash and employee conduct. But being as this wasn't a Fortune 500 company, but rather a family-run small business, I wasn't against the idea. This, however, backfired. I returned the week after to find that sales were doing all well. Ordering and replacement of merchandise that had sold and needed to be restocked were being taken care of, as I knew they would be. And all in all, things were looking good for the new store. However, apparently we needed new employees because 3 of them quit unexpectedly. I walk in during a cold November morning to browse the aisles and see what was out of stock and what was selling. What styles were selling quick and what styles we could do without. It took me about 4 hours or so to really post everything to my phone, and about 3/4 of the way in I realized there was a shift change and that I needed to grab lunch. So I went out to the area where the food court was, had my lunch and decided to finish up what I needed to do for the day. It was about 3 in the afternoon when Bernice walked in for her shift. As I was too busy doing what I was originally doing, I paid no mind and continued on. About 5 minutes in, I realized that she wasn't alone at the cash register. Next to her was her boyfriend, just snuggling up on her in public view. He literally had his hand down her blouse and his tongue so deep in her throat that it made me gag. I issued an ahem. She scolded at me, not knowing who I was, and stuck her tongue out in raspberry fashion. I walked up and said, "I don't think that would be very appropriate for customers to see. I would appreciate it if you two wouldn't use all of that pent-up energy for the PDA you're showing." Half grimacing, she looked at me and uttered, "Yeah? Who the heck are you? And what the heck you gonna do about it? It's a free country. You don't have to look if you don't want to, pervert." Now at this point, I knew that I had two options. One, I could have some fun with this and really make her feel really bad and ashamed of herself. Two, realize that my policy of nobody talks to me like that ever and fire her on the spot. Unfortunately, my years of fun are gone and I'm a businessman and this was driving away business. So I opted for option 2. Bernice, was it? "Yeah, how the heck do you know, bro? Did your brother tell you that? Oh my god, are you Jimmy's brother from English class?" I said, "No, Bernice, I'm your boss. I'm the owner. I'm the reason why I allowed your aunt to hire you here. I'm also the reason why I want you to pick up your stuff and get out of my store. I will pick up your shift and take care of it myself. You will get your check at the end of the week. Thanks for all your hard work, or lack thereof. Now leave, or I will have more security escort you out." I could tell by the look on her face that she didn't believe me at first. But then came into the realization that she may have seen my face somewhere in the back of the break room, where I keep some of my pictures to commemorate my other 2 stores. Needless to say, I have not seen her around that mall again. Her aunt spent the next 2 days apologizing to me, but it wasn't her fault. I didn't need to hear it, I don't blame her for that, and I had to see it with my own 2 eyes to believe it anyway. I found out later that the 3 employees who quit left because of Bernice. Her unwillingness to work with them to accomplish goals and her blatant lack of respect for them. Her boyfriend also apparently enjoyed closing the store with them at night, and they felt uneasy about it because they said they didn't know whether or not to trust him. I don't think I could have been more lenient with her, to be honest. I rehired them, and 2 of them are still valued employees to this day. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And if you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day and stay safe. Bye bye.